Hello and welcome to part 2 of our Mamod FE1 fire engine video from RC Empire. In the last episode we took a full and detailed look at this amazing live steam fire engine, looking at all the components, pulleys, linkages and craftsmanship in detail along with a full unboxing, before we walked through the replacement of the front boiler inspection glass which was cracked. Now in this episode, with the fire engine back up and running, we will be walking through step by step the processes needed to fire up the FE1 before we see it in action in all its glory, running close up in a static test with its wheels off the ground and running outside on the floor. So let's get started. Now what we have here is a temperature gun, some distilled water, and from the box we have the included funnel, our burner tray, a couple of spare parts, and our fuel tablets. And oil for the moving parts and pistons, which you can use after you're done using the model, just to protect and lubricate the mechanisms. So, the first thing you want to do is remove the pressure release valve to open the filling hole in the top of the boiler. Now, unlike the SR1 steamroller we looked at last time, this has an inspection glass and a water level gauge on the front of the inspection glass, as opposed to an overflow hole at the back of the boiler which will start overflowing when the boiler is fully filled. So put your funnel in and slowly start pouring in water until the water inside the boiler has reached the full level on the brass plate. And you can just see it starting to fill from the front there. And that's pretty much it. It's taken almost dead on 10 centilitres or 100 millilitres of water to fill it. And just remove the funnel and screw the pressure release valve back in, nice and secure. Note that steam should only ever leak or be released from here if the pressure inside the boiler gets too high. Okay, next we're ready to set up the burner tray, and with this model we will be using these easy to use clean fuel tablets. Now this is actually the original packet of fuel that I bought with the engine from new, so I've had these for around 15 years now and they should still be fine. They are coated with, and I think mostly made up of or held together with wax, and they've been kept in a cool dry place, so I don't think they'll be going off anytime soon. And as you can see from the condition of the engine and the number of tablets I've used, I've only ever used this a handful of times and kept it in good condition. So take 2 of the tablets and just place them in the burner tray like that. Nice and easy. Again, quite different to the methylated spirits burner we saw with the SR1 steamroller in our last video. You can use 1 tablet, but it's harder to heat the water up to temperature and it also takes longer to heat up. So by the time the water boils, the tablet's almost wasted away. And they're really not that expensive either. Now quickly, if we look underneath, we have the space for the burner tray. And before you light the tablets, I recommend just getting used to sliding the tray in because it can be a bit fiddly and it doesn't quite sit flat. You don't want to be playing around with it, trying to fit it in when it's on fire. But it will fit in there under the boiler. So take your tablets, put them in the tray, and light them up. There's a little layer of wax on the outside you need to melt first, but they will light almost instantly. Again, make sure you do this in a really well ventilated area because they do release fumes. And then just lift the back of the engine up and slide it in. And that's it. All we have to do now is wait for the water to boil, and I've got a little stopwatch here so we can see how long it will take under normal room temperature. So we are starting off at around 35 degrees Celsius. And this metal shroud here can actually get quite hot, so do be careful. At around 3 minutes, you can see little bubbles and steam starting to form inside the boiler tank from the inspection glass. And if we look from above, you can see the flames just licking up the side of the boiler there from the tablets. Now at around 4 minutes, you can actually start to see steam coming from the piston. It's not quite up to full temperature yet, but we'll give it a quick try. So flick the lever into forward and start the flywheel moving, and we are off. And you can actually hear the RPM starting to increase as the water starts to get hotter and create more steam. And in reverse, and again in forward. Not up to full speed yet, but it's already much quicker. And finally, it's pretty much at full RPM, and you can see just how quick the flywheel and the piston is moving. And of course, it's built up a good amount of pressure inside the boiler. Now what you can also see is the exhaust pushing out steam underneath, and as we mentioned in the last episode, the power being transferred through this amazing little system of pulleys to the back axle driving the rear wheels. And we are getting a good long run time here, even though the water level is still above halfway in the tank. So now we have approached around 10 minutes of running, and there's still plenty of steam in the tank, but the tablets are starting to die down and not producing as much heat. And you can see there's still a lot of water in there, and we haven't used a massive amount of it up. If we remove the burner tray, you can see the tablets have just wasted away there. But what's great is they don't leave any ash or anything you need to clean up after. They'll just completely waste down and pretty much disappear. At this stage, if you just blow them out, they are still big enough to relight later, if you want to stick them in with the next 2 tablets and go again. And as mentioned, I don't recommend using this indoors unless you've got a very well ventilated area, because these tablets I think smell worse than the methylated spirits, and you have a little steam still left in there. But that's it for the static desk test. So, if we go outside now, I'm just going to give you a quick little outdoor sample for now and make a full outdoor running video later on, because it was freezing outside every time I tried to film. And that really makes a big difference on how these models run, especially if it's windy too. And when I filmed this, it was around 1 degree Celsius outside. This is definitely a summer model where it can really heat up nicely and you can get good long run times. And also, this is probably one of the worst surfaces you can run it on, which is bumpy, uneven and full of gaps. So what I'm going to do is wait for the weather to warm up a bit, find somewhere with a nice flat ground and see what it can do in good conditions. Despite the pretty much worst case conditions, this engine is really doing a good job of getting over this surface. And that's it for this video. In the next episode, we'll be back with a proper outdoor running video, as well as a few fun Steam videos we've got lined up for you. So keep an eye out for those. But that's it. If you have any questions or comments, or if you'd like to see anything in particular, let us know below. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.